Hi everyone, this is your host Ross from Fresher Sounds podcast, and today we have a special guest. This special guest is an amazing singer, freestyler, rapper, all that stuff. This is the one and only Comprehend. So give a warm welcome to Comprehend. So Comprehend, obviously I know
Thank
I've
you,
just
bro.
introduced you, but can you give the audience a bit of a background story on yourself?
Yeah, man. So my name's Comprehend. I'm an singer, rapper, MC from Leicester City in the UK. I've been making music for about 10 years now. I first got into music by freestyling with my friends, and then took songwriting a little bit more seriously by 2015. Since then, I've been on tour with people like Skiddy Man, Socks. Um, I've had a song, or been on a song, sorry, that reached number 2 in the iTunes charts. I've got between 3 and 4 million views across my TikTok at the minute. And yeah, man, just trying to smash out the music game, you know what I mean?
I've been like following you for a long time now. Obviously, like you've been on one of my previous podcasts before, and obviously we've already had a conversation, me and you, and
Yeah,
a
man.
lot's changed since then to now as well. Obviously, looks wise as well, because I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but you've gone better than how you used to look. You know, obviously you've been to Turkey, you've had all that stuff done. You know,
Yeah, man.
the style, the tats and everything. I'm digging it, me personally. You know, you look so much
Thank
better.
you, bro.
You look a lot healthier as well, because like back then, and again, I don't mean any disrespect. You know, you wasn't looking that healthy. You know, I don't know if you had
You're
anything
not
going
wrong.
on personally in your life, but you know, it's just
Yeah, yeah, man. Well, like touching on that, I mean, I used to have a problem with eating, so I used to struggle with eating, but that's mainly because I would replace it with beer.
yeah.
I used to smoke weed every day, drink every. I was an alcoholic for 12 years. I used to take drugs and stuff like at music events and not even outside of music events, just in my personal life. So I decided start of last year to get sober. I started hitting the gym. Um, like you say, I went and got my teeth done because they were absolutely cracked out from all the alcohol and smoking and stuff like that. I'm currently nearly a month into no vaping or smoking cigarettes. So I pretty much knocked everything on the head now. I just hitting the gym. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't take drugs, none of that.
I mean, that's a
So
big achievement in itself, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you can see the massive improvement, and if you know, you're getting people like myself saying that how much of an improvement they can see in you, surely you can see some improvement as well.
yeah, man, I'm honestly so proud of myself, brother. If you'd have told me 2 years ago that I'd have got to this point, I'd have laughed. It's just been small steps and then building momentum, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm super proud of myself, man.
So it should be as well, do you know what I mean? Because like I said, you know, you look tons better for it as well. And I'm sure like with your mental state of mind as well, you know, obviously it would improve it as a lot as well. I mean, I for one suffer with my mental health, and like when I was going to the gym quite frequently and I was going on walks and everything like that, I felt a lot better in myself as well. So I can only imagine you feel the same.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think prioritizing. I mean, that's why for those who have followed me for a while, I've been quite quiet musically for like the past year or so. Um, because for 10 years, I'd put music at the forefront of everything I was doing, sometimes to the detriment of my own health and mental health. So I decided, right, forget about everything. I'm just for the next 2 years or year or whatever, I'm just going to focus on my health. And, that's what I've done. And I'm in a much better place mentally, financially, physically, um, everything. So, yeah, man, I'm proud to be where I'm at. And, I'm ready to start releasing music again and getting back in the swing of things. I've got tons of stuff on the way.
Do you
It's
know what?
been,
I can't wait for some of your new music to drop as well, because obviously before you came on to the interview and everything, I had a few of your songs on, and I'm there listening to the lyrics and watching the video as well, and it's just like, how do you come up with this like creativity? So one of them, um, do you know when it's "Don't Be Like Me" and you got the clown outfit on?
Yeah,
I love it, and I love the creativity behind it all. And it's like,
yeah, thank
how
you.
do you come up with this sort of stuff? Like, where do you get the ideas from?
I'll be honest. So the "Don't Be Like Me" video idea that came from the actual beat, produced by a guy called Premise on the beat. So the instrumental was called Georgie, and
Ah,
it had a picture of it the clown as like the artwork for the instrumental. So I thought I hadn't planned to do anything to do with it the clown when I wrote the song, but then when I thought about it, I thought it kind of matches that kind of creepy vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind it pulled it together nicely. So I was like, it would make sense if I was it the clown, but then instead of there being a child that I'm like trying to, go after, what if it was a
yeah,
girl? Because my love life at that point specifically anyway was a bit of a shambles. So I was like, what if it's a metaphor for my love life, the video, and I'm
yeah,
the clown trying to get this girl? So it was kind of, yeah, it started with the artwork for the instrumental and then became an idea. And then the girl who's in the video for Don't Be Like Me, she did the makeup for me. I bought her the yellow waterproof jacket. And then me and my friend Hive, who's also my cameraman, um, yeah, we just kind of saw what we could do. We've got this thing we do when we make videos. I call it the moon theory. So we start what's the craziest thing we can do, and then let's make it a bit more realistic. How can we actually achieve it? Do you know what I mean? So we'll think of the craziest thing, and I was like, it needs to be like it the movie. So we need makeup, we need costume, we need locations, all of this, and then we tried to do as best as we could. You know what I mean? So
yeah. No, I think it's like really amazing how you come up with the creativity side of things as well, because as a music artist, it's all good and well going like, oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna go to the booth and you know gonna write my music, record it, and everything, and then that's it, done, dusted. But I think to
yeah,
captivate it more, you need that video as well, just to be like, to entice people. Because obviously, when you're on YouTube, people watch videos and stuff, whatnot, and it's like, well, if it's a good video, then they'll remember it more and more and more, and they'll be like, "Oh, look at this guy! Like, look at the video." And then sometimes they might not like listen to the song at first. They'll be like, "Oh, look at the video," and then because they're watching the video that much, then they'll be like, "Oh, this guy's actually good," or vice versa. Do you know what I mean? It could be
yeah,
either or.
yeah, 100%, man. And so a couple things with that. I mean, the thumbnail is very important, right? It's people
Yeah,
underestimate the thumbnail. You can't just pick anything. You need to pick the most eye-catching, random. Like I did it best with Miney Mo. I don't know if you've seen the video for that where I'm in the
yeah. I've,
colourful
I've
suit.
been watching all your videos today, mate.
Yeah, yeah, my guy. So with Miney Mo, the thumbnail for that, I didn't mean for it to be strategic, but it was in a way. So I picked it, and then there's this AI software that can determine how good your thumbnail is to the human psychology kind of thing. I think it's called IQ something. And Vid IQ, I think it's called. So I ran it through there and it said
Yeah, yeah.
this thumbnail is perfect. And I was like, okay. And then I've realized because it's me in the suit, and then there's four people all masked up and like dressed in black behind me, one looking like they're doing a shanking motion. And it just I was like, okay, so yeah, you're 100% right, man. And I think too many people just do what they see in a popular video and try and replicate that. And the issue with that is they've already seen it. Do you know what I mean? So the thumbnail is
Yeah.
good to get people to click on it. And as an independent artist, bro, like you've got to try and replicate a big budget video, or at least do your best with it not being big budget. Do you know what I mean? Because people have seen it all and people have a lot more money. There's always someone who's going to have more money to make a video, and there's always someone who's more creative than you. So you've just got to try and just do your own thing. Do you know what I mean? And stand out.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, like obviously you've mentioned about budget and everything. Do you normally have like, oh well, I'm gonna spend like a couple £100 on this music video, or are you just lucky to have set people, like a cameraman and a producer and makeup artist as your like, your close circle of friends?
No, I mean, my cameraman has become a close friend through the work we've done together, but I always pay per usually per song. So per song, I'll pay for the beat, I'll pay for the video, I'll pay for any props and anything needed in the video. If I need people, I'll pay them for their time. So I'll pay for everything basically. But like with my cameraman, we do like a almost we do like a contract. So it'll be like 10 videos for a discounted rate of this. And then
Yeah, yeah,
I'll buy them in bulk. The same with beats these days. I'll buy like a folder of beats instead of one. Um, that kind of thing. But then sometimes someone will just spring it on me. Oh, bro, do you want to film a video? And I'll be like, okay, I've actually got this song. And sometimes someone will be like, oh, here's a beat, or I'll be in the studio and we'll just make something on the spot. So it
yeah.
varies, but my general formula is I pay for it bit by bit.
So obviously, I've noticed on one of your videos as well, you did that started in Crunch with is it what is it Elro El
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So was that like one of them scenarios where you just went to the studio and just recorded the beat, or was that just like, oh, we'll buy the beat and film it?
No, so do you know about Elrose Past at
I've
all?
I've listened to some of his music and everything, and I was watching that one where he was do you know the Black Box?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And obviously he talks about like his past and everything, and I think he was on the drugs and alcohol as well and stuff
Yeah, it
like
was,
that.
yeah.
But I don't know him well enough to say like, oh well, this is for definite. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
he's a
so
good
El
artist as well.
He is, yeah. So Elro, he was quite big, like I want to say like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
He blew up on SBTV and he had a few videos that did millions of views. And he's got quite a jovial nature in his lyrics. It's all quite jokey, quite similar to my sort of style with a lot of my songs. It's quite self-deprecating, that sort of thing. But he put out some freestyles on SBTV, was getting millions of views, signed a major record deal. Then he didn't like that, and that failed, kind of thing. And then he's kind of gone independent since and been doing his own thing. So he's a relatively big deal in the music game. Like a lot of people know who he is. So that song with him happened because I had some people who were going to be my managers, and I was getting loads of messages on TikTok saying, "Oh, this guy sounds like Elro. This guy sounds like Elro." Da 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 da. I kept getting that. I still get it to this day, because some of my lyrics are quite self-deprecating,
I
joking.
don't think you sound like him, to be honest with you. I think you
No,
both
I
got
don't.
your own like unique identity and your own unique flow as well, because like how he raps and how you rap is totally different as well. And obviously you both got different accents as well. And it's just you can tell from a mile away anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're trying to copy him or he's trying to copy you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he's Welsh, bro. He's from Wales. I agree, bro. I think our styles are completely different. It's just because we're both two white guys who kind of make fun of ourselves, and we're very realistic about who we are, very self-aware. But yeah, but no, my management set up that. So that was my old management. Sorry, I don't have management now. But yeah, so they had set that up because they said, right, who do you want to get in the studio with? And I was like, I'd love to get in with Elro. Me and my friends listened to him when we were younger. I think he's jokes, sick guy, um, that kind of thing. So they got me in the studio with him, and he had made the beat for Started in Crunch. He made the beat. We recorded that there and then in the studio. Made that there and then. So that was like one of these impromptu tracks that kind of just happened, and then I didn't get the track till a few months later, and then me and my cameraman, uh, we travelled down to Wales, went to where Elro Studio is, and filmed the video for it in Wales.
I like the music video as well. Like I think it's quite funny when you're walking around with the alpaca as well, and you're stroking the horse in the barn as well. But what like I'm
Yeah,
probably going to sound thick here, but what does it mean like started in country? Is it like started in country or
yeah. Started in the countryside because that's where I grew up in the countryside.
right?
But
Okay,
everyone thinks I grew up in Leicester City, but I grew up outside the city in the
right, okay.
countryside. which is why the whole video is
uh,
like country areas and not a city.
yeah, I get it. See, I was thinking that at
Yeah.
first when I was watching it, I was like, is he trying to like put out a message to say like obviously where he's originally from, like, the countryside? And I was like, what, I'll just ask him like obviously on the interview as well.
No, it's not a bad
So
question,
like,
bro. I've never been asked that. That's not a bad question, bro, at all.
I mean that. I'm,
No,
I'm I'm quite
no.
I'm quite surprised at that one, to be honest with you, because it's like, if see if you're gonna interview a music artist as well, at least do a bit of background check on them, watch a few of the songs and listen to them. I always show your music off anyway. Like I was in Blackpool with a music artist called Joe Dark.
Okay.
He's up and coming as well. And I said like, oh, I said you need to listen to this guy called Comprehend. And I was on the phone to him yesterday, and he was like, do you reckon you could like link us both up or something? I don't know, to be honest with you, mate. I said like, he was like, where's he from? I went, I can't remember, but yeah, I said I'll try
Yeah,
my best
yeah,
to see what he says and everything, but. He's from Blackpool, and he was like, yeah, I'd like meet him halfway, go to London or something, or meet wherever is best for him. So he digs music as well.
yeah. Nice, man. Yeah, send me his YouTube link or something like that, or his Insta
Yeah,
or something.
I'll
I'll check him out.
I'll sort something out. So going back to you and everything, like what got you into the music? Like what was the, like light bulb in the head sort of moment?
Do you know what's funny, bro? I've actually been talking to my therapist about this recently because I think it's deeper than I initially thought. But I always thought it was just because that's the friends I was hanging around with at the time. Like I say, I grew up in the countryside. I didn't really know any black people. I didn't know um, what it was like to live in the city or anything like that. So when I went from high school to college, there's people from inner city Leicester and there's people from Braunston, which won't mean anything to you, but it's like one of the areas of Leicester. Um,
Mm.
so then there's like mixed race people, black people. I think there was like one Asian family in the village I grew up in that I remember. Um, so it's you're starting to intertwine with different cultures now and different things. And I always listened to like Eminem and 50 Cent. And my dad used to love that kind of thing. So he used to play that in the car. So I always liked rap music. Next thing I know, there's people who are rappers that are like in my class and in my lessons and stuff. And I just always thought it was sick, man. I was like, yeah, that's such like a cool rebellious thing to do. Um,
Yeah.
so so I started hanging around with those guys, like people like my friends Forbidden Author, Jackson Sizzler. These are all like artists in Leicester that I grew up with, Black Knight, people like that. And I would just sit there in awe, bro. Like we'd be passing a joint around, which I was like super rebellious because I was like, yeah, this will annoy my parents. Passing a joint around and then drinking alcohol and stuff. And then I decided to join in eventually. And I was awful, obviously. And then I went away and I wrote some bars, and they were awful and controversial, which I don't mind. And then, yeah, I just started doing that with them. And then I remember my first wordplay, I'd accidentally written a bar, and it was like about the government, but it was like, is the seed of this bigotry. And my friend was like, oh, that's sick wordplay. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, seed, bigger tree. And I was like, oh, so I didn't even mean to do that, but that's why I'll never forget that. But I started as Motion was my rap name to start with because my best friend he was Movement and I couldn't think of any other rap name. Um, and then his twin brother was like, "Well, your name's Hendrik, and you rap about conscious stuff. Why don't you just be Comprehend?" And I was like, oh, "That's genius, bro." So I took that, ran with it since. And then about 2015, I was like, "Yeah, maybe there's a way here where I could like actually be a rapper, like a serious rapper." So yeah, man, and here we are. But
That's absolutely mind-boggling. So, like
yeah,
hearing like a bit of your like life story and your background and everything. And obviously, I wanted to ask like where did the name come from? Because obviously, I know your actual name as well because obviously I got you on Facebook as well. And
yeah.
for people who don't really know you that well, and you know have you on social media and everything. It's just bizarre, and it's just it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's wild, bro. I remember at the time thinking, yeah, my parents will hate this. Like, this is a massive rebellion because white grew up in a village. There was no rappers. Like, it was the people who would listen to rap, who were a lot of them were my friends, were classed as chavs. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They were the chavs because they listened to like rap and stuff, and it was like, oh, kind of thing. So it was frowned upon, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try and do that. And then but I basically fell into it, bro. To be honest, there was no like, it wasn't on purpose. I just was doing it because my friends were doing it, and I fell into that friend group. And then yeah, I just started taking it more. I'm very competitive, so when I saw everyone around me was doing it and was sick, I was like, well, I need to be better than them. So I started studying it and practicing, and then I'd come round with new bars, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you're getting better, bro," but they'd still be like, "Your flow's whack. You ain't got no wordplay. Your cadence is terrible." This kind of thing, and I'd be like, "Yeah, leave it with me, boys. I'll get better." And then I'd go away, work on my cadence. Then someone would say your flow's whack again. So I'd work on my flow. They'd be like, you got no wordplay. I'd be like, right, I need to figure out how to do wordplay. And just like that, bro. I'm just very I get hyper obsessed with stuff, you know?
Yeah. So would you say like people that you used to hang around with, they're like, do you reckon they'd be like, look at this guy now, you know, it was shit, and now, now he's just blowing up into, you know,
Uh
I'd say
so
something major.
thank you, bro. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's one of these where it's a long game. People don't realize a lot of the artists, even when they see them like blown up, it's taken them 10 years. They've probably been doing it since they were like 10 years old or 12 or whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, so yeah, they do. Like my friend Sam, he was with me last night, and he was like, "Bro, he was like, it's so weird that you're like comprehend, but you're my best friend." And he was one of the people who got me into rap, and he was like, "It's a weird dynamic. He kind of looks up to me, but he's older than me, and he's one of the people I got into rap because of." But then I've got other friends who aren't like that because they've also risen up, bro, and they're doing like massive festivals and just still way better than me as a rapper, which is sick to have in your sort of vicinity. So you can be like, okay, I've still got to keep climbing. You know what I mean? Stay on my toes. I can't get complacent now. Um, so yeah, there's different levels. You know what I mean around me.
Would you not like do a sort of like collaboration with the guys who you used to hang around with as like sort of like a comeback video thing? Because I think that would be pretty cool, to be honest with you. You know, like obviously you've mentioned, oh well, these are the guys that taught me everything, and now this is who I am now. And I think as a comeback, that would just be so amazing just to get your old friends and everything on a music video and get them to like spit a few bars, you do a few bars there, and then like, have like about
Yeah,
4 or 5 years.
that is a sick idea, man. I mean, I've always got like features coming out with some of them. So we're always like, because we're hanging out and that, like we'll put a beat on and we'll accidentally make something that's banging and write it and then try and get it recorded. Some of the others like either don't rap anymore, most of them have quit. The ones that haven't quit that are like bigger, either like contractually just can't do features like that or are like super busy. So it's like, yeah, we'll try and do something when we can. It gets to a level where it's not as easy as just like everyone just being able to link up in a spot and drop bars, you know, unfortunately.
Yeah. No,
So
I totally understand that with what you're saying, but
yeah,
like me personally, I think, that would be an absolutely outstanding comeback video. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I agree. That would be sick, like a legacy, like an OG cipher or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, I'll try and get something sorted, man. I've got a track coming with one of them, my boy Jackson Sizzler, sorry, is his rap name now. Me and him have just wrote like a fire back to back freestyle kind of thing. So we'll be dropping that soon. We're in the studio next month. And then me and my boy, Young Springer, who I was with last night, he's got me on one of his tunes, so that'll be coming soon. So yeah, we're getting there, brother. Trying to get round to them all, you know what I mean?
And there was a video that you posted, uh, obviously. So with one of my episodes that I've done, I did I selected a few artists at random, and you was one of them. And I went to like one of your oldest videos that you've done, and you did a
Oh
feature
God.
of a female. I think it was called Tough Love.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
How did that feature come about? Because like listening to it, and then like obviously I've never listened to any of your old stuff until then, and I'm like, this is not comprehend. This is not the comprehend who I know. Like this is amazing stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying you shit or anything because I'd never say that stuff, but that was just like it was very uplifting and it was raw and passionate and emotional as well. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, how does it come across these artists?
Oh, Lindsay Wells. How did I meet her? I think I met her at an open mic. I might be, yeah, I think she was at an open mic that I went to. And she also thank you for the compliments. And yeah, she was singing at an open mic and I was like, wow, that voice is incredible. And I was starting to make a slight name for myself at some venues around here. And yeah, so I went up to her and I was like, "Look, I'd love to get you on a song." She was like, she was doing covers, and she was like, "I've never like done an original track kind of thing." And I was like, "Well, just give it a go," kind of thing. I did something similar with another singer called Callum Fortune, um, and yeah, it was a song about one of my exes. I'm trying to write more stuff like that, but I remember at the time thinking I need a commercial song that can, because most of it was anti-government and political, and like I couldn't get played on the radio and stuff like that. So I was like, I need a commercial song that can get radio play. I was like, it needs to have a singer on it, like a powerful voice, and
Yeah,
it needs to be about love. So yeah, I came across her at an open mic, and I was like, yeah, she's perfect. She's the one I need on the track. And then I spoke to her, and we went to my friend Naji's studio and got it recorded. Um, yeah, banger, bro, banger.
yeah. I totally agree with you. Like when I listen to it, like I'm not even gonna bullshit you, and I'm not saying it just to hype you up or anything. Like I had a tear in my eye, and I was like, fuck me. I was like, that is emotion right there because when you listen to a song these days, I just think it's a bit shit personally because it's always about like, oh, they're all like, oh, pussy this, pussy that, and like, I'm gonna come round and draw like gun fingers, and it's just like, where's music gone these days? Do you know what I mean? Because no
Yeah,
one,
man.
no one puts passion into it, and it's just like what people sort of like want to hear, but they don't want to hear it at the same time. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather listen to that song that you did 8 years ago or any of your music that you've got out now compared to like Bugsy Malone to H and all these big artists because it's just talking about like gang life and everything. And on the flip side, don't get me wrong, because like obviously some of them have lived that life. If you've lived that life, you want to rap about it, fine, fair enough. But don't be like faking it and everything. You know, you've gone through some like hard times and everything. You've been through the drugs, the alcohol. Your eating disorder. You know, relationships and everything. People want to hear more stuff like that than oh, gonna come to your gaff and shoot you. It's just like it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right, man. You are right. I think it gets tough, man. I know, like as an artist myself, like when I released something like that. I mean, at the time, that didn't do very well. That song, even though it was one that, like the video, I think I paid £500 for that video,
Mm,
um, let alone everything else. But I put a lot of money into that, and it didn't do very well. And then I dropped like a freestyle where I'm kind of like just kind of taking the mick out of myself a little bit. Still real stuff, but less
yeah,
passion, kind of just joking kind of bars, and that'd do way better. And again, I think it's tough as an artist. You start to subconsciously doing more of what does well versus what um not what you want to do, because I want to do all of it, but like not yeah, you know what I mean. You start just doing more of what does well, and
yeah,
then 2-3 years can pass by, and you're like, hang on a minute, I've just dropped like a variation of the same song like 6 times. I need to get back to what I was doing, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Um,
yeah,
so my next project that's going to be coming out next year is it's got a song that's similar to Tough Love. I've got a singer from Bradford on it, and it's about relationships and stuff. but it's way better written in terms of the
Yeah.
verses and stuff. I'm just trying to tap more into where I was when I first started, and I had to take a break and just kind of realign myself with why I got into this in the first place. You know what I mean? I started getting a bit lost in it, and you've got to brand yourself as an artist, and it's a tough thing to do, man. The industry tells you got to brand yourself, so you start thinking, all right, well, I'll be this joke. Like for me, I'll be this jokey kind of rapper. Then that's the route I'll go down because that's got commercial viability and it's very loud and brash in terms of the marketing. So
Yeah.
that will do well. But then, you know, three, four of them songs later, you start thinking like, but I want to make a song that's deeper or that's like talking more about this or might be able to help someone with that. And it's too late at that point because you've already branded yourself as this guy. So um, I got very close to there and I pulled back a little bit, um, which could have been to the detriment of my progression in music. But um, I'm never want to sell my soul for the sake of becoming commercially viable or whatever. You know what I mean?
So would you, if like a music label came to you and said like we want to sign you, would you go down that route or would you prefer to be more of an independent artist because obviously you've got more say and more control as an independent artist?
Yeah, I mean, it would depend what they wanted from me and how they plan to market me,
Mm,
because if they're the ones giving me massive exposure, but they say I have to act or become like this kind of person, and then they expose me to everyone as that kind of person, but that's not what my intentions are as a rapper long term, then I'm screwed. Because if anything happens with that deal and I try and go back to being this person, it won't work. People will be like, "So who are you?" So if they were on the same page with me as to my vision for and like my goals with music, then I'd probably sign like maybe an EP deal or maybe a couple of singles, maybe one album, depending on how much they were paying. And then I'd want to go back to being independent. But I wouldn't do like a, you know, like a 5 album deal for like £100,000 and um, they keep, you know, 90% of everything. I think that's ridiculous.
yeah.
Um, so it would depend on the terms, man. I've been offered some wild contracts in the past. I'll tell you one contract I got offered by an entity. It was as the artist, you own the rights to none of the music, none of the visuals, none of the back end of any of it. Um, plus you have to pay 100% of everything. Um, but we'll push you, like we'll market you, but you have to pay for everything and you keep none of it.
Well,
That was
that's
one that was one contract I was offered.
why in the earth would anyone go, oh yeah, I'm gonna sign that contract. Done it in
Bro,
blood as well. It's fucking
six,
ridiculous.
six people did, bro. They gave those contracts to about 20 people and 6 people said yes. But luckily, because the other 14 said no, and it kind of got the backs up of some music lawyers, they never went ahead with it. But yeah, 6 people were like, yeah. But I think what they didn't do, what I did is you can get like a free hour with a music lawyer,
Mm,
you know, like a trial thing. So
yeah.
as part of that, I sent a contract to one of them, and he came back to me within about 20 minutes, and he was like, "Mate," he was like, "You've got to be absolutely stupid if you sign this contract." He was like, "It's ridiculous." And then I was like, "What do you mean?" And he explained it to me like I just explained it to you, and I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Yeah, that's awful." And I was excited, man, because I was like 2, 3 years in, and I was like, "My first contract, I'm going to be a superstar."
It's absolutely mad. Sorry, 1 second. This is unprofessional, isn't it? We
No, it's
can't
all
be
good.
pronounced out of the house.
You can't control that. That's all good.
No, it's just like I think it's mad as well because like, you know, well, I won't say mad as such, but I think it's crazy because like if you're a music artist and you know, like yourself, you just got into 2 maybe 3 years of, you know, doing what you're doing and you get a contract and it's not worded the way that you just explained it to me. I mean, in that respect, I think anyone would sign it, but if it's not, you know, worded correctly or stuff like
It's
that,
misleading,
then
you know, that they hide
yeah,
behind
it's
all this
very
legal
misleading,
talk.
and I think like I think it's wrong as well because you know the record deal shouldn't be allowed to do stuff like that. It should be plain black and white. Go right, okay, this is what you get. You know, so we want 50% and you keep 50%. You know, everything's yours. You keep this and this. You know, I'm will push you. You don't have to pay us anything, and that's it. So obviously, from all the earnings that you get from Spotify, Apple, whatever, YouTube, we want to split it 50-50. You know, something like that. I think that's quite reasonable. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't think any contracts will do that sort of stuff. So
No, no. You'll be lucky to get something like that in the music industry. I
I
mean, what
think it's
people
more
don't
like a 70-20, isn't it? Like 70 to them, 20% to you.
well, yeah, be 80-20 or 70-30 usually.
Yeah, yeah,
But even then, like what people don't understand is like even at my level as an independent artist, when I make a song and I get the beat off a producer, the producer's instantly getting 50% of that song because without the beat, there's no song. The producer gets half, and then
yeah,
I've got half. But then if I've got to deal with someone else, I'm only getting half of that half. And then, do you
yeah.
know what I mean? It starts going down from there. So yeah, you can very easily end up getting like 10% on a song that you've pretty much done everything minus make the beat for, but someone else's, you're under their jurisdiction. Like I've got a publisher, they take 20% of my of 100%. So they will take 10% of that 50%. And then
Yeah.
you know, it starts going down like that.
See, it's hard as well as being an independent artist because not many people understand, like, obviously, all this sort of stuff as well. And, you know, like, say, for example, if I was going to get into music, like, I wouldn't know any of this sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's
No,
quite useful information for people who are watching, who want to get into the music industry or who have just literally just started to get into the music industry and they want to get big. Do you know what I mean? And it's mad to say like obviously what happens and you know the progressions level because obviously you're not like where you want to be, but you're at a good level as well. Do you know what I mean? And compared to
yeah.
someone who wants to start, like I've just mentioned, then it's just the little behind the scene things. It's mad. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think what I've done, which uh in terms of my music, I've if you picture uh being an artist as a ball, right? At the core of that ball is the music. Everything around it is understanding the fundamentals of the business side of things, uh, and you know, getting good at performing live and networking and all of those different aspects, marketing stuff like that. I've done it in such a weird way where my music right now that's out there isn't actually like that substantial or that impressive, but I've got so good at everything around that that I've actually built a name for myself by putting out very little music that I would class as even that impressive compared to the stuff I've got right now. So, like, it's weird to me, bro. Like, so soon as I start getting the middle part sorted, it's going to be my trajectory should start going crazy because the outside part I've pretty much smashed up until now. I know how the music industry works to a good level. I've networked with a lot of people at various levels in the music industry. You know, I know how to market myself. I know how to write good songs. I'm good at like making stuff on the spot. I've got the majority of it down. It's just I forget that people aren't aware of the music that I've got stored in the vault. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that I've got all that, so I talk as if I've already got bare bangers out there, but I forget that I haven't. So I sit there and I'm like,
Well, yeah, but don't
well,
contradict yourself though because you have got quite a lot of songs out there and you know, to anyone who's not listened to it, I would highly recommend listening to Comprehend because he is an absolutely fantastic rapper. You know,
thank you, bro.
it's not just rapping, it's the singing. And I watched one of your songs before and you're just rapping so fast. I was like, fucking hell, breathe, 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 breathe. You just like off the tongue, and I was like, wow. You
Yeah,
just
that's a skill in itself, bro. That's about breath control, which was another skill I was bad at. And you can add in like half breath gaps between bars. I'm a bit of a nerd with bars, right? So you can add in like half a breath gap. So it sounds like you're doing this mad long, super fast bit where you've not breathed once, but you've actually figured out certain words you can say where it's got such an intonation that you can actually catch a little breath saying them
yeah,
words. um, is pretty cool, man. But just quick, I mean, going back to what I was just saying about the outside part of the balls being mastered, I
yeah,
would say the main thing, if you're an artist listening to this, is make sure your music is banging. And you might think it's banging for where you're at, but think about, is it banging in general? You know what I mean? But a lot of people come out the gate and drop an album, and the album's weak, and then they're like, "Why haven't I been signed and like gone major?" And it's because at that time you probably thought that was sick, but on the grand scheme of things, it was not. You're not that good. Do you know what I mean? So take your time in owning your craft and getting good at writing songs, and spend time with other songwriters and listen to other people's music, and be self-critical. There's always someone better than you. You're never going to be the best person. So don't become deluded and start thinking I'm the best, because that's a stupid way of thinking. You'll never get any better. You know what I'm saying? So always be aware there's someone better than you. Always be willing to take advice on board, and step outside your comfort zone, and just really own your craft, and have like, I would say, have 20 to 30 really good songs under your belt, um, before you even decide to come out the gate as a rapper. If I could go back in time, that's what I'd do. I'd have
yeah,
spent it. I'm happy I've done what I've done in the past 10 years, but if I'd have took 10 years before that to get to where I am now, and then released my debut single now, um, like my numbers would be so much higher, and I'd be further musically. I've done it well in terms of who I've connected with and all of that stuff. Everyone, but the thing is, there's a million ways to skin the cat that is being a music artist. There is no right way to do it or wrong way to do it. Do it how whichever way you want to do. But I just think the main thing is you need to actually be good at making music to do it. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, I totally agree with you on that as well. But I personally think the way that you've done everything, I think it's fell into place so well.
Yeah,
And I love it how you do it on your music videos. It's your cousin's worst favorite rapper and everything. And
yeah.
like
Your weird cousin's favorite rapper.
every
Yeah,
time that comes up, I was like, that tickles me. That how you just come up with that, and it's just because it that in a way it's good marketing because like you do have that weird cousin in your family who listens to weird shit, and it's just like, well, I'm that artist who that weird cousin is listening to weird shit. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
But it's not weird shit, your music. And again,
No,
like, I'll big your head up here and everything because you are an absolutely fantastic rapper. You are an absolutely amazing singer. You're talented, you're gifted, and
thank you,
you
bro.
know, I said to when I before we came on and everything, I had some of your music on, and my neighbour came in. He was like, "Are you listening to?" I said, "Oh, I'm interviewing some guy later on." He was like, "It's good, him, innit?" I said, "Fucking tell me about it, mate." I said, "It's sick."
Yeah, I
Honestly.
love it.
But
I
like
appreciate that.
from from when I first heard one of your songs, I was so captivated by it, and I was just so intrigued. I was like, I'm subscribing, and every time you drop more and more songs, I'm like listening to them all the time. Put them on repeat, and it's just I've become a fan of you as well, and I can't wait for your new music to come out. But
Thanks, bro.
whilst we're talking about music as well, and you mentioned something that in video AI, it's AI stuff anyway, innit?
What's
And
that?
that in video thing
Oh, the
when you was
vidIQ
putting
thing I mentioned.
yeah, when you was putting the thumbnails in and it tells you if it's a good thumbnail or
Yeah, yeah,
not.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So obviously I'm like always on social media and everything as well, and you see these videos that are being put out that have been done by AI and everything, and these music videos, and you put a prompt in and it's like Harry Potter rapping, for example. I watched one yesterday and I was like, it's scary the fact that this AI stuff could potentially replace artists like yourself, and it's just like,
Yeah, man.
you know, what's going to happen in like the next 10, 15 years? You know, are we going to get rid of music artists completely? You know, are these, is someone like yourself going to have to compete to a frigging PC? Do you know what I mean? And it's scary
Yeah.
and mad to think about that sort of stuff. Do you not think?
Yeah, no, it is, bro. It is. But I think I mean, if you break it down, bro, it's potentially going to be the same with everything.
Yeah,
I think they said AI's got the potential to take over 99% of things people do nowadays. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, Everything. So I guess looking at it from that perspective, it it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to be able to say, yeah, I'll outdo AI, but I don't think that's going to become possible. I think it will get to a point where it will capture, be able to capture our voices and just create. It will listen to our intonations on certain songs and be able to make music like that. But especially if it's like got everyone who's released music publicly in the world and it's got like all of that, and then it can mix it together. And yeah, it's scary, bro. But listen, I don't want to say that me being an artist is going to be like a financially feasible thing 20 years from now. But
yeah,
I do it because I love it at the end of the day. That's why I started doing it. So I'll always make music and I'll probably always be releasing music, man, because one of the first things I released, I mean, I first started rapping to try and open people's eyes to things
the
they might
government.
think about, yeah, that they might think about or do that they think makes them a weirdo or like unusual or makes them you know what I'm saying? Open their eyes about the world and like you're not alone through this and you're not alone through that. And I remember someone had told me that I stopped them from killing themselves one night, which was mind blowing to me. And I remember thinking, if I can do that just by dropping that, then like I'm happy that I've saved someone's life. I wonder how many more I could save or like how much further I can take this in terms of helping people. So um, that's why I started doing it. That's what I've had to remind myself why I've been doing it.
Yeah,
So even if AI comes along, bro, I'll still be doing that. It might do it better than me. I mean, there's a lot of rappers that are better than me. You've just got to try and hope people connect with that human aspect of you and relate to that on a human level and
yeah.
pray for the best, I guess.
I totally agree on that one. So if you could like collaborate with any, and I mean any music artist, doesn't matter if they're dead, if they could be alive, they could be, top tier music artist, they could be upcoming, no one like that anyone's never heard of. Who would you collaborate with and why?
Probably either Lil Wayne or Eminem.
I had a feeling you was going to say Eminem
Yeah.
with what you
And
said
why?
before.
Why is because, like a lot of people, I listened to a lot of Eminem when I was a kid growing up. My dad used to play him in the car. A lot of his stuff takes me back to my earliest childhood memories. And this was before I listened to rap like I do now.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, and but then when I started listening to rap, the first rapper I like properly became like, yeah, I'm a rap guy. That's what I do. It was Lil Wayne. And you can
yeah,
ask my older brother, every day he'd walk through the door, I'd be listening to a different Lil Wayne interview or listening to his music on the way to and from school, buying anything he dropped, watching how he dressed, like all of that stuff. And I'd be like, yeah, I need to buy a mink fur coat at some point and like just stupid stuff, man. But his wordplay was crazy, but I still listen to his stuff now. His wordplay was insane. So
did you
Lil
buy the
Wayne,
coat?
like, you what? Sorry,
Did you buy the coat?
no, I got something similar, but it wasn't real fur. No, I remember googling them, and they were like 18 grand or something, or like some ridiculous amount. I was like, yeah, probably not today.
Christmas is
Um,
coming up anyway, so you can probably treat yourself to
yeah, exactly.
it.
But this was like early 2000s, bro. I don't think it's the style anymore. But I'd look like a caricature of a pimp. Do you know what I mean? I'd probably get smacked up for it. But yeah, but Eminem, just because of how much he ties into my childhood, bro, and like thought he was like the first person, and me and a lot of my friends are like hardcore fans of his. There is other people that I listen to more these days, but I don't think it's impossible for me to end up doing a track with them at some point. So I don't rule that as like an impossible feature. Whereas someone like Eminem, I'd say is damn near impossible. Um,
You
Nothing's
never know.
impossible, but yeah, yeah,
You never know.
you never
You know,
know exactly.
you could possibly blow up so big one day. Eminem gets in contact with you and goes, "Listen, let's do a feature."
Yeah, I mean that definitely had crossed my mind a lot in the earlier days. Uh, I remember one night getting super drunk, bro, and emailing his management like 20 emails, and I was like, yeah, he has to get me on a track. Like, here's my stuff. Da, da, da. Hoping that I'd wake up the next morning and I'd have an email back saying, yeah, he'd love to jump on a song with you.
Listen, I think we've all done that.
Yeah,
I've emailed big, and I mean big artists, and I've emailed them like, I do a podcast about music artists. I'd love to have you on for an interview. Never get anything back, but
yeah, you got to shoot your shot, bro. You know what I'm
I
saying? You got to
tried
shoot your
them,
shot.
and that's it. So someone advised me one day, does like, I used to, well, I still do listen to Bugsy Malone, and I've always been like quite a fan of his as well. And someone said to me, email him or like find him on socials. I was like, and say what? Like, I don't know what to say to the guy. Just like, well, just introduce yourself and just tell him like what your podcast is about. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, we only live once. I'll do it. And I think that goes to say for anyone as well, really. You don't
Yeah,
know what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Again, with yourself, you don't know within the next, I'd say 5 to 10 years, you could be this big, massive artist who's on TV and everything, who's at festivals, who's at Parklife, who's at Glastonbury and, you know, going to warehouse projects and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You don't know.
yeah, man. I
And
think the beautiful thing about social media as well is like you can blow at any age. I mean, look at Pete and Baz, and then look at I can't remember his name now. He's called Doctor something. He's an American Donny. He must be like 45. He's sick with it. Um, so I don't think the restraints are there like they used to be. It used to be you had to get signed, and a record label would only sign you if you were still young and you had like a lot of years that they could squeeze out of you in terms of being able to sell you to the public as this young, clean, fit, beautiful, do you know what I mean, gangster kind or whatever kind of
you know,
character. But I don't think that's the case anymore, you know. So we'll
there's
have to
there's
see,
a few
bro.
artists who I've seen as well. What's he called now? There's a colour guy and he's got like afro hair and he's got the tattoo on his neck and it begins with D. He's a good artist. Um, and he's done one where he's like drinking whiskey out the bottle and and he does the
Oh,
studio thing.
Dax.
Yeah, he's good. He's absolutely amazing. I rate him and Ren as well. Them two are absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ren's pretty sick, man. I rate Ren. I've done a few of Dax's open verse challenges before. His songs are very like em emotively like OT, very animated. You know what I mean? Like when he does the Joker kind of style stuff and whatever else. But he is killing it. To be fair, Dax is.
Yeah, I reckon that'd be a good collab between them two, Dax and Ren.
I'm
I think that.
surprised they haven't already collabed. To be fair, wouldn't surprise me if they have. To be
Yeah.
fair, excuse me.
So before we do like wrap up and everything, because obviously
Mm.
I'm assuming that you've got some stuff to do today and everything. I don't want to keep you too long. I could sit here and talk to you for a very long time, and you know, but is there any advice you'd like to give to people who are watching in and tuning into this episode?
Yeah, but yeah, I would, but it's more general advice, right? Just because of like how much of a 180 my life has done in the past couple of years, you know. Obviously with getting sober and stuff like that. I think I think people get stuck in a cycle and a routine and think, it's hard to change the person who you are or break out of certain situations. And I found the easiest thing for me was to change how you identify, sorry, who you identify as.
Yeah,
So, more so leaning towards addiction anyway. I think you might see yourself as a stoner kind of character, and you might have embedded that into your life in terms of the music you listen to, like the kind of programs you watch, how you dress, where you go, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'd say the easiest way to become the thing you want to become is to identify as that, and then figure out all the nuances later on. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's the same as becoming an artist, identify as an artist. What would an artist do? An artist would go probably to a networking event. Would they treat it like a party and get off their nut? Probably not. Should you? Probably not. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how you quickly make yourself look silly. What would an artist do? They'd put in that graph, they'd go to an open mic tonight, they'd go to the studio the next night, they'd be writing lyrics to something the night after that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to identify as someone who doesn't drink, then maybe lean towards identifying as someone who's into fitness. If you want to identify as someone who's not a stoner, maybe identify as a gentleman who smokes cigars and dresses nicely or whatever. It's all about the image you create around your character in your head, because that's all we are. We're just avatars for our souls. Do you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So you just shape your avatar to whoever you want to be, and then just focus on what would they do, how would they act. Obviously you're going to have the challenges of cravings and stuff like that, but if you you know understand that and aware of that, the same with you, you'll have challenges as a music artist. If you're aware of that and you understand that it's part of the journey, then you'll push through it and you'll keep going. So I think it's just focusing on what the end goal is, why you want that, and then understanding there's going to be a lot of steps to climb along the way, and getting after it, man, and just putting in that graft.
yeah. No, I really appreciate what you just said then as well. And just before we do go, is there anything you'd like to promote on today's episode as well?
Yeah, man. So look out for the live version of my song Hypocrite that will be dropping on my YouTube soon. I've got a feature with my boy JC coming soon. I've got a ton of shows coming up. You'll be able to find information about that on my socials, which is at Comprehend Official. And then next year, I'm just going to start dropping all of the new music I've been sat on. I'm super excited to share with everyone. I've just got a few more things to sort in the studio, getting them finished, and then there'll be tons of music coming out. So thank you to everyone who's been on the journey with me. Shout out everyone who's just joining me on the journey, and let's get it.
No worries. I just want to say massive thank you to yourself, and I just want to say, well done and congratulations on everything that you've done so far. Obviously the the journeys that you've been through, the struggles that you've been through as well, and that you've managed to change your life around and you know become who you are today and everything. It's absolutely amazing, and
Thank you,
you
bro.
know I want to say that you are a role model to some people as well. You know what I mean? As you just mentioned as well, you saved someone's life from dropping a track, and God knows how many other people's lives you saved as well. So keep doing what you're doing and everything, and ecstatic to see your new music as well.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I'm
No,
excited
it's
to hear it, and hopefully it can help a lot more people as well. That'd be dope.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on as well.
That's all good, brother. You take care, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
I don't want nobody. I don't want you.